Good afternoon once again, everyone. The first thing that I'll mention commentary-wise are the Adelaide Festival Theatre buildings up there on the left-hand side. They are the home to the arts and theatre scene here in town, and they celebrated their 50th anniversary back in 2023. Also up on the left, we've got the Tap House Bar and Restaurant, which is open for business today. You might notice some of the paddle boats as well moored over there on the left-hand side. They're available for hire today. I can actually see one in front of us there as well. So we are on the River Torrens here today, but we generally refer to this part of the Torrens as Lake Torrens. That's because of the weir up around the corner that we're going to see in a few moments' time. The weir regulates the water level in this part of the Torrens, basically turning it into a lake, and that allows recreational boating like the paddle boats and Popeye to take place in this area. Other boating that is popular includes rowing. The annual Head of the River Rowing Regatta was held in this area for many years until the late 1970s. And the buildings directly in front of us on the left-hand side of the lake here are all boat sheds. The last type of boating activity I'll mention to you today are the barbecue buoy boats. You might notice two of them out and about in front of us there on the right-hand side. They are a self-drive boat with a barbecue on board. They're fully licensed and hold up to 10 people. So they're a lot of fun to do here on the lake. They've been constantly out and about here so far today. There are 4 boats, so we will see another 2 somewhere as we're going along today. Now, up on the left-hand side here, so we were established back in 1836 here in South Australia, so quite late in the scheme of things. And we were a free settler state. We weren't convict settled like most of the states in the country. And that of course makes us a slightly higher class of person here in South Australia. Ask any local, I'm sure they'll agree with me. But I guess like most places, there were the haves and have-nots in early Adelaide. And this area in front of us on the left-hand side was a shanty town for many years back at settlement. Restaurants. Upstairs the Red Ochre Grill and downstairs the River Cafe. Then on the left-hand side of that, up in front, is the weir that I mentioned a little bit earlier. The weir was built back in 1929, and the deepest part of the Torrens is just this side of the weir, where it reaches about 7 metres in depth. And then as we turn around up there in a few moments' time, you'll notice there's a big drop-off on the far side of the weir of about 10 metres down to the river on the far side. Then the river runs 13 kilometres from here all the way down to the coast. At the jail. We are going to pass around a number of photos today, so if you don't mind having a look and passing them on, that would be great. We generally pass them down this side of the boat and then back up this side, so everyone gets to have a look at them. The first photo we're looking at today is of the weir in front of us, and it was taken back in the 1940s. It shows a group of swimmers about to dive off the weir back then. That was at the commencement of a swimming race that was held annually. The race commenced here in front of us at the weir and finished all the way down at the University footbridge that we'll see a little bit later on this afternoon. Believe it or not, this part of the lake was a popular swimming spot back then. Unfortunately, swimming is discouraged these days in the Torrens. I was mentioning that there were plenty of cormorants here on the lake. You might notice some of their nests at the top of the tree just there on the left-hand side. See the cormorants' nests up there on the left? The Kaurna people called the River Torrens area Kara Wira Parry. That translates as the Red Gum Forest River. As I mentioned a moment ago, this building on the left is home to 2 restaurants. It's also home to our gondolas here in Adelaide. That is an authentic gondola all the way from Venice in Italy, and that's available for hire. So many people ask how the name Popeye came about. We have been out here on the lake since 1935. And at that stage the owners were looking for a name for their new boats. What we're going to do now is we're going to pass around a photo of one of the original boats so we can pelican. See the pelican there just sitting on the branch? We are going to pass around the next photo now. I think they're very rare these days. Then up through the trees on the left-hand side, we've got a couple of large structures up there. We've got the Memorial Drive Tennis Centre at the front where the Adelaide Invitational is currently being played. Then behind it is the Adelaide Oval, which of course has been there since the 1870s. home to many famous cricketing contests. We've got 5 little boats in the water in front of us here on the right-hand side. They are meant to represent the early settler transportation out to the colony of South Australia, obviously by boat back in those days, and the writing on those boats are diary extracts from some of those early settlers. King of England when Adelaide was founded back in the 1830s, but it's actually his wife that is better remembered here in Adelaide. That's because King William's wife's name was Adelaide, Queen Adelaide. There has been a bridge here since the 1850s. This one was built about 1930. The trains used to run along the bridge here from the city on the right through to North Adelaide up on the left. High boat sheds. And Lounger's Cafe is the older building at the end of the group up there. It was originally a boat building shed where the first Popeye boat was built by Harry Lounder, who was a bit of a legend here on the Torrens. And then we have Popeye 3 and Popeye 2 just moored here on the right. Popeye 3 is getting ready for a high tea cruise that's happening this afternoon. And you probably notice they look a bit different to this boat on the outside. That's because this boat, Popeye 1, has had a special artwork placed around it. About 6 months ago, it was donated by the Ramsay Foundation, who owned it. Its 150th anniversary last year. Founded originally with a 5-acre grant from the state government. These days it's on 22 acres of land and home to over 20,000 students. We've got another pelican in the water in front of us here on the left-hand side. Well done. Your last sweetheart. 2 twos on that one. Well done, kids. You all passed the toot test. Got to more of our pelicans here on the left as well. So we've really got you back at Emerald Park, everyone. Just a reminder that Popeye is available for private functions. Oh, here we go. That holds the door open at the front. It is a bit oily, so best not to grip that as you're getting off. Of course, we only use olive oil here on Popeye. Had to mention her somewhere. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I hope you've had a great time. And that you have a great 2025. Thank you very much for coming.
سیدی و خیر باز چی مطلقا خوش گذاشت سیدی و خیر باز چی مطلقا Okay.
Yellow that size.
Sorry, I'm not sure what that is.